Welcome back to Bitcoin Season 2. I'm Charlie Spears from Blockspace Media. You thought that AI frenzy was happening only on cool, fast blockchains like Solana. Well, buckle up because it's on Bitcoin too. Yes, Bitcoin will not be left out of the party. You are seeing AI coins launched everywhere. Now, I don't just like to talk about meme coins and everything. We will talk about some technical stuff like the latest almost critical bug in the most recent version of the ORD client that Casey recently patched. We will talk about an interesting, unique solo mining event. But before we do all that, a word from our sponsor. Bitcoin Season 2 is brought to you by Botanix. Botanix Labs is pioneering a new direction for DeFi with the first EVM L2 running on Bitcoin that's built to be forward secure, decentralized, and share gas fees generated by the network with users. See the future of DeFi at Botanix, botanixlabs.xyz. That's right. I usually kick off the Monday live stream with some metrics. I like to get the graphs out of the way at the start. If you're listening to this is a little visual heavy, but I'll try to talk you through it. Let's go to my favorite website, mempool.space. We're back down to 2 sats per VByte. This time, last week, was an absolute frenzy. Now, this just goes to show like how much can happen in a week, because if we look back, the 25th and the 22nd, we saw major spikes in the amount of transactions at certain higher fee rates coming through. You can see, even as recently as 4 or 5 days ago, you had transactions in the 50 to 60 sats per VByte range. This was like a resurgence of runes minting transactions where the number of transactions on Bitcoin per day were comprised at its peak, I believe, 70 to 80% of transactions were runes mint transactions. So while that was a relatively quiet week for Bitcoin on the price side, it was very active from a transaction standpoint on Bitcoin. Let's go to Domo's Ordinals Marketplace dashboard. We have done $4.7 billion in volume. Again, overall marketplace volume is pretty anemic compared to where we were last spring during the last huge Ordinals bull run leading into the Runes launch. And we're also still net down for transactions. I'll pull up a chart from Shudu from Liquidium just to get another look at the activity on the most popular lending platform, Liquidium, where users can lend their runes or ordinals assets against other users who will provide the Bitcoin for that at a certain interest rate. So we actually saw mid-September the kind of bottom in the lending market from a volume standpoint at about 30 Bitcoin per week on Liquidium, but over the following month through October, we saw the activity on Liquidium rise pretty significantly, now at 70 to 80 Bitcoin per week. A little bit down this past week, down to just high 60s. So we'll see where we are on track. It's a new day. I'll probably get Shudu on here next week to review what all is happening on the lending markets. Let's take a look at the actual spot markets. Here's Magic Eden. If you haven't already listened to it, I got Matthew and Steven from Magic Eden on the most recent episode of the podcast airing this past weekend to talk about their sniping tool mitigation. But right now, just on the week, ordinals assets are down. That is correct. You see popular collections, No Monks and Puppets, each down 12 and 20% respectively. OMB down 8%, the stablecoin of the ecosystem, and Quantum Cats, the other stablecoin of the ecosystem, down 10%. The only real major collection that is up on the week for I would say long-standing collection is Fomojis. Let me know in the chat if you would like me to get a member of the Fomojis on the show. I think they'd be a very interesting interview. Last on the markets update is the overall Runes market cap, which is sitting at $1.1 billion. Casey again is happy. The make or break level for Casey, living or dying based upon the success of this token protocol, is about $1 billion. So for over $1 billion, Casey's happy. If we're under $1 billion, then Casey is sad. On that note, I mean, I know I was going to talk about AI coins, but let's take a look at the hottest cryptocurrency, which will be the hottest token on Bitcoin, which will be minting out this week, which is the Hell Money Memento Mori token. What is the Memento Mori token? It is actually the first time that you, the listener, can buy anything that Casey, the creator of Ordinal's Runes, has ever put out. He has inscribed a few things, and he has got some early stage projects, but they're not released. This is a rune which is going to be airdropped, and it's a hybrid airdrop and mint release mechanism to listeners of the Hell Money podcast. So if you are a financial supporter on the Hell Money Patreon, then you will probably get some of this rune. It also uses an appreciated mechanic of a hard-coded block height to begin minting the token. That is, instead of you immediately etch it and everybody can start minting the runes, rather it's kind of like they call their shot and say, well, at block height 840 something thousand, you can start minting this token. And so that will hit currently, I think it's on track to hit the day before Halloween US time, so October 30th, which I think is Wednesday or Thursday. So we will see. This is going to create, this is very clearly a very hyped event, and we will see if this drives a lot of fees on chain. So getting into the title of this episode, nothing is safe, nowhere is safe from AI meme coins. It's still uncertain to me whether we should be combining artificial intelligence and blockchains. I'm not entirely sure they fit together, but one way they can fit together is there is a bot, I believe, on either Solana. There's an AI language model on Twitter called Trust something or other, doesn't matter, Truth Terminal. And A16Z co-founder Mark Andreessen gave this AI bot $50,000, and the bot had a directive, something like make a lot of money or do something with this. And what it did was launch a meme coin named Goatius Maximus. Maybe don't Google it. So this meme coin has skyrocketed and from a very humble market cap to now well over $500 million. I think it peaked at around $800 million, and it has spawned a proliferance of similar type projects on other blockchains. These are mainly on like meme coin chains like Solana, but recently Ordinal's builder and a personal friend of mine, Butoshi Nakamoto,
what was your main
put out this video of him who he's really into AI art.
My main intention was to create a decentralized digital currency.
Created a language model of Satoshi, an AI chatbot, plugged it into Twitter, and now there's an associated rune with it called Cipher Genesis, which as you can see here is the chart. It's quite a chart. It's a little bit down but flat. I don't know, not going to comment too much more on the price, but this was a fun event to see, like Bitcoin following as opposed to leading in the memetics department for a little while. So enough about that. Let's get into the technical. Or the latest version of Ord was discovered to have a bug that burned some runes in some certain uncommonly used edge case scenarios. Yes, you heard that right. Ord is the client that Casey and Raph have been building, which implements runes, the runes protocol. And 2 days ago, Casey announced that they had a serious problem. They realized that when you sent multiple runes in different outputs through the client, that it would not provide change addresses for runes after the first, which would result in you sending those runes to the person that you are sending them to. So basically, you would lose the runes, and the client would naturally do this. He's not aware of anybody doing this, but it remains to be seen if somebody did have this issue. But anyway, they patched it, so it's hot fixed with ORD update 0.21.2. I would say that this is actually a very notable time because this is the first time I think that we saw a real critical bug in the ORD client as it pertains to runes. This is a very different story than we saw with the development of the ORD client to facilitate ordinal theory and produce inscriptions. Because Casey launched the ORD client and made it live to the public in January of 23, and then basically spent the entire next year trying to armor it so it wasn't broken all the time. And this was a very chaotic early period in what we call like the early stages of ordinals consensus. But runes, on the other hand, when Casey launched the runes protocol at the halving this past spring, there were virtually no bugs that we could see, and there were a couple small hot fixes, but the client on day one worked pretty effectively. So this is actually the first time that we saw the client itself. That's not, there's the protocol which says you should do these things, but the client implemented the protocol as it was defined improperly, resulting in an edge case bug. So this is the first of its type. I think this really does speak a lot to how Casey and Raf have built this particular client really, really well on day one. But I also think it's just notable because like this is the first like real time that there was an actual issue. So moving on, what's the significance of this here? You say, well, earlier today, around about 6 hours ago from this broadcast, a block was found from a miner which titled itself FutureBit Apollo Solo. Why is this a big deal? Well, we have heard of people hitting blocks with solo miners before, but that actually doesn't really, I think, communicate the real story. Typically, when people hit a block, like a hobbyist miner at home or something, hits they'll point their hash rate, their machines to one of these like solo mining pools, and then those solo mining pools will like discover a block. But whenever we actually look at which entity that's pointing to that solo mining pool gets the block, it's almost always revealed to be like a larger miner who has a portion of their hash rate pointed to this pool. So like the big boys. We haven't really seen a true independent like home miner with one of like the small little machines on their desk, kind of like this OMB bit axe that I've got here. We haven't really seen one of those actually hit a block until today. So we saw a particular home mining device, more of a consumer-oriented device called the FutureBit Apollo Solo, hit a block earlier today. I think this is pretty significant. What's the FutureBit Apollo Solo? They've got an Apollo 1 and 2. It's kind of like, it looks like a MacBook or a Mac Mini. It's like a clean box. You're gonna pay a premium for it. It looks cool. It's quiet. So yeah, it's only about 10 terahashes, which is about 10 basically of this particular BitAxe Supra model. So, but you're also going to pay a premium for it. But I think it's pretty interesting because they actually hit a block, and that was pretty significant. Otherwise, last on the docket for the news this week, we saw a major raise announced. BitSmiley raised $10 million for a round 2 funding to drive BTC-backed DeFi innovation. It includes a lot of the mainly Asian venture capital looking at the Bitcoin ecosystem with some new names. You have the KuCoin, you have Varus Ventures, you have a lot of names that I don't know, but I think 10 million is pretty significant. Again, it's the check sizes are getting bigger in the Bitcoin ecosystem. So I'm pretty sure this has something to do with their Smile token. So best of luck to them. We'll see where it goes. But the raises are getting bigger, even though Bitcoin still has yet to reclaim its all-time high at time of broadcast. Anyway, otherwise, if you've made it this far, I have to shout out, if you're not already going, our conference, Op Next. Op Next is a Bitcoin scaling conference for builders, developers, and founders. We are hosting it in Boston, Massachusetts, November 9th. That's in 2 weeks. Boston, Massachusetts, November 9th. We have quite a lineup here. Let me just show you. This is kind of the who's who of the Bitcoin developer core team. This is a lot of the notable voices and stakeholders who have been talking about Bitcoin scaling proposals. And we have Steve Lee, we have Ren from Electric Capital, Portland Hoddle, Peter Todd, Jeremy Rubin. We have Alex B from ARC, Misha from Pipe, Paul Stort, Rindell from the Wizards, Rizzo, Taj Dreiger, co-inventor of Lightning, Dan Gould, Jay Bedek, Rusty Russell. It is like a massive lineup. If you made it this far, consider grabbing a ticket last minute. You can use my last name, Spears, S-P-E-A-R-S, for 30% off. That's the deepest discount you'll get with a code. Use my last name, Spears, S-P-E-A-R-S, for a 30% discount on GA tickets. We'd love to see you there. I'm excited. We're going to be streaming it. Make sure to sub to our platforms. And otherwise, yeah, catch Bitcoin Season 2 on all streaming platforms. See you next week.